That heavily debated school voucher program is now live tonight. The portal for parents launched this morning, and more than 29,000 people in its first day signed up. The program takes taxpayer money and it goes toward paying for private schools. And it's safe to say so far it's been a hit.
The largest school voucher program in the country is officially online in Texas.
Within the first hour, we're talking about 8,000 Texas families.
By the time Capitol offices close for the day, Texas Comptroller Kelly Hancock says that number exceeded 29,000. The program is called Education Freedom Accounts. Supporters say it gives parents the freedom of school choice. A student can get up to $10,000 for private education. Students with disabilities can get as much as $30,000.
1,700 schools. So, I mean, it's great options, great opportunities, a wide variety of schools.
Critics say it doesn't allow public schools to play on the same playing field. We asked Hancock if he thinks public schools will suffer as a result.
What this does is simply provide an instrument for those that are looking for other options. We did a lot of listening, and then we did a lot of tweaking to make sure we address those concerns.
Education researcher Dr. Aaron Bumgardner with Rice University says if Texas follows the likes of other states that already have school choice programs, she doesn't believe public schools will be heavily impacted.
Majority of the folks who are using those programs are already in private schools, like up to 90% or more in some states.
However, she does see concerns with the framework as it stands. Not all private schools are opting into the program. And although parents can apply to a list of schools, the school is not required to approve every applicant.
We know more rural areas have fewer options available.
If you look further on this map, these are the many options for Tyler and Longview. In Lufkin or Nacogdoches, the number of schools available is lowered drastically. And in some parts of the state,
it's not a choice program for families that live in those places because there's nothing for them to choose from.
The application window is open now until March 17th. Families who sign up will know by April if they're approved. The funds will be sent to their accounts before the start of the next school year.